Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You are welcome to online lecture. This is business studies, and today, inshallah, we are moving on to another topic entirely, and which happens to be the first topic for this very third term, and which is business organization. When we say business organization, it is defined as organization which deals with business setup or business settings. Then we have various types of business organization. The first one we are going to treat here is on the sole proprietorship business and that of partnership business. What is sole proprietorship business? Sole proprietorship business is a kind of business organization organized by a single person. A single person organizes this kind of business. And for business organization like this, it is controlled and managed by a single person. Another name for business or this kind of business organization is sole trading. At the same time, we can call it one-man business. Various examples of this kind of business are the hawkers, a small shop owners, a shoe cobblers, barbers, hairdressers, etc. Then what are the various features of sole proprietorship? The first one here is that this very kind of business is easy to set up. Sole proprietorship is easy to set up because a single person is managing and at the same time is having control over this business. The second one is that of the requirement of the money to start this kind of business. It requires small amount of money to start. The third one is this kind of business requires no registration with the authority, that is with the government. The fourth one is it does not enjoy limited liability. This kind of business organization doesn't enjoy any in whatsoever limited liability. The fifth one is that this kind of business organization enjoy privacy. It is owned by a single person, so he is the alpha and omega of his business, so it enjoy 100% privacy. Then the kind of business also takes all the profits in the business. Sole proprietor enjoy all the profits of his own business. The seventh one is that whenever that very owner dies, it might lead to the end of that very business. Then let's quickly move down to the advantages of this kind of business organization. Advantages now. Advantages of this kind of business organization. The first one is that it requires small capital amount of money to set up. It requires small amount of money to set up. This kind of business organization requires very little amount of money to establish. So that is an advantage of this kind of a business organization. The second one is that the proprietor make all the profits alone. He owns the profits. All the profits incurred in this very kind of business is owned by the owner. The third one is that this very business, the owner of the business determine on the location of that very business where this business is to be sited. It is owned and being decided by the owner. The fourth one, this business is very easy to establish because of its mode. It's very easy to establish. One can easily dream and start the business anytime, any day. The fifth one is that by the time this very owner establish his business, he may decide on his own. He has the decision to take on his own. He can open the shop anytime he likes, and at the same time he can close the shop anytime he wishes. Then the last one here is, which is number 7, this very kind of business can be established in any environment. It fits any environment. You can establish it inside the bush, you can establish it along the road, you can even establish it whenever you find yourself. So it's very easy to establish. Then we now move down to the disadvantages of sole proprietorship business. The first disadvantage of this kind of business is that the owner has little access to the capital. And you know, capital, as I said earlier, is the amount of money required by the owner to establish his business. So to get large amount of money to continue this business is not easy because it is owned by a single person. 2, the owner takes all the losses alone. You know, when we are discussing on the advantage, I said this owner owns all the profits. So if there is any loss now, again, this owner is going to bear all the losses. The third one is that the business does not enjoy separate legal entity at all. Unlike any other business organization, when we are going to discuss later, this one does not enjoy any separate legal entity. If he triumphs, he's going to enjoy it and nobody will query him or her. And at the same time, if it runs at loss, there's nobody will query him or her. He will only bear the loss and the risk. The fourth one, the rate of expansion is very low because of finance. It's very low. To expand this kind of business, it requires money, it requires more labor, and it requires more, tactics to establish. But because it's owned by a single person, it is not easy at all. The fifth one is that the owner may sell all his personal property to continue this business if the business fails or if the business go into liquidation. By liquidation, I mean if the business fall. If it's fall, the owner may sell all the personal property to settle all the debt that he has incurred in the business. The last but not the least is that if the owner dies, the business may collapse and it may lead to the end of that very business setup. So that is that on the sole proprietorship business. The other one that is as old as that of sole proprietorship in the world today is that of a partnership kind of a business. Partnership business. By partnership business, I define sole proprietorship as a business organization owned by a single person. But this one, partnership, is not owned by a single person. it is owned by either 2 or more people. Either 2 or more people. So I can define it for you now as a business organization control, organize, finance by 2 to 20 people at a roll. The owner should not exceed 20. The owner is between 2 and 20. But the same procedure is the operation of that of a sole proprietorship and that of a partnership business. Those people that owns partnership business, they were called partners. They were called partners. They were called partners. And these partners, they were the owner of partnership kind of a business. Then quickly let's discuss on the features of sole proprietorship. For the features now, the first one here is that it does not enjoy legal entity. The same thing applicable to sole proprietorship. This kind of business organization also does not enjoy any legal entity. That's the first one. But for the ownership now, that's the second one. The minimum number of people that can own this kind of business is 2. The minimum number is 2. That is 2 people. And the maximum number of people that can organize this kind of business are 20. So it's between 2 and 20. That is for the ownership. So the partners that are required to own this kind of business are between 2 and 20. The third one under the feature is that this kind of business organization has unlimited liability. But for the sole proprietorship, I said require limited liability. But this one require unlimited liability. If the business fails eventually, the partner may only lose what they contribute to that very business setting. They will not go to the extent of selling their personal property. The fourth one is that it is also easy to set up. Why? Because it doesn't require any kind of registration with the government. The fifth one is that it does not require process of registration. I've said that, and that's the reason why it is very easy to establish. Very, very easy to establish. You can just come around, think about the kind of business you want to do, and start doing the business without any consultation and without any registration with the government. Now quickly let's move down to the advantages of partnership kind of a business organization. The first one, the capital is contributed by many people. Unlike that of a sole proprietorship where we have a single person who ran helter-skelter to get money to start his or her business. This very kind of business, it is between 2 and 20 personnel. So the 2, 3, 4 or 5 up to the 20 people can run to get large amount of money to start the business. So it's an advantage because there were many. The second one here is that there is diversity of talent among the partners. Various people gathering together, different brain. Gather together definitely will be better than a single head. So they have better advantage. They will think, ruminate minds together before concluding on any kind of decision to be taken in that very business setting. The third one, there is room for division of labor. Partners can divide themselves to various units, to various settings, to various setup, so that the business can progress. They can divide themselves. Some people can man the managerial aspect of the business, some the advertisement of the business, and so on and so forth. So there is room for division of labor. 4, decisions are jointly taken. Yes, because they were more than 2. They were more than 2. 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 20. They have to think before they can decide on the progress of the business. 6, more jobs are created. Yes, when 2 or more people are coming together to establish this kind of business, yes, there is room to create jobs amongst themselves. They have to think on what to produce, the system of production, how to produce, and decision on who and who are going to be beneficiary of that very kind of business, so they can divide themselves. In dividing themselves now, they've created more jobs. The 7th point here is that a partner exists may not affect the business. If a partner out of those partners decided to quit that very business, the business will continue. It may continue. Let me do that may. Because if the largest shareholder withdraw or quit that very business at that very point in time, it may collapse. But if a ordinary partner just decided that he's quitting, the business is likely to continue. Number 8, ideas are shared among partners. Yes, when 2 or more people are coming together to form this kind of business, that is partnership business, we have various ideas. Idea A will be different from idea B. Idea B will be different from C, and so on and so forth like that. Then the combination of this very idea will have to be solid, and the foundation will be strong. And lastly, A, business risks and liability are shared among the partners. Unlike that of sole proprietorship, which is owned by a single person, whenever anything happens to that very business, is going to bear the loss and is going to bear the risk. But here, the risk is being shared among the partners. At the same time, the liabilities also is being shared among the partners. That ends the advantages. Then quickly, let's move down to the disadvantages of this kind of business. There's nothing in this world that has its own advantage that will not have the other side of it. The other side of it now is what we are going to discuss now. That is on the disadvantage of this very kind of a business. As good as this business is, it has its own disadvantages. Then let's look into the disadvantage number 1. Partners may use their family wealth to pay debt owned by the company. If a partner sees that the business is going down or is about going to liquidation, he may go to the extent of tampering with the family wealth to sustain that very business. And if eventually the business collapses, meaning that the family wealth will also collapse, and it is spell doom for such a partner. The second one here is the capital beyond the means of the partner may be difficult to obtain. If they decided to go on a large scale, the amount needed to sustain that very business may be difficult. Although they were more than 2, they were many. If there is no wealthy among them, definitely to expand this kind of business is also going to be difficult. So there are difficulties in the expansion. As good idea in their brain, as they have good idea, there is no way they can progress without money. The third one is that the decision is very slow. Taking the decision in this kind of business organization take very slow ride, because the reason is partner A and partner B may not be in the meeting when the meeting is on. Do you get it now? Partner A and B may not be there, and C alone cannot take decision. So decision is very slow. Unlike that of proprietorship, you can take decision anytime he likes. The first one is that if there is disagreement between the partner, this may lead to the end of the business. Any slight disagreement in this kind of business setting may lead to the end of the business. Another one is that if the lion's share partner withdraw from the business, it is likely the business ends. And at the same time, if the active partner, that is the one that contributes large amount of money, died, the family may withdraw the wealth from the business, and this may lead to the end of that very business setting. Inshallah, that is where we are going to draw the curtain on this very topic that we discussed. We discussed on the sole proprietorship and that of a partnership kind of a business. Inshallah, we are going to continue from there next lesson. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.